T1.
You have T1?
Doesn't everyone?
That's rubbing
Do you mind
salt
me-
into the wound.
Do you mind me asking? I think I've asked you before. I don't know if you mind me asking this on TV. What do you pay for your T1?
Yes.
Okay.
You mind?
All right.
I mean, do I pay? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I thought.
No, do you mind? He wants to know how much you pay.
How much? What does it cost you to get?
Oh, T1s are cheap now, about $400 a month.
Okay. And now does T1 come in on copper or glass on?
Combination. The last mile or so to me is still copper. I'm
Okay.
trying
All
to
right.
get them to go fiber with it.
Okay. All right. I thought T1 will still come in
But
on copper.
T1s are nice because by law, the provider is regulated by the FCC, and if it goes down,
Yeah.
an alarm goes off in their operations center, and
They can
you get
fix it.
priority getting it back up.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of times it goes down, I don't even know it. They call me,
Uh huh.
and they say, "Well, your line's back up," and I say, "Oh, okay."
Thank you.
But it's never down for long. The
Well,
only
why did
time-
that
Do
go
you ever,
down?
do you ever tell them, well, it took you long enough? Do you
Well,
ever-
the last time was some fool with a backhoe dug up the cable.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it took, and I thought, well, gee, here's 3 or 4 days because you got all those cable pairs that have to be spliced back together. They had it back on in an hour and a half
It's pretty fast.
because they did mine first. They had to by law.
Ah. Well, good.
Other people were out for
I guess they got them color coded
Much
and stuff.
longer.
They can just dig right
Yeah.
into that bundle and
Yeah.
figure out who's and splice it right up.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew which one they had to do first. Huh.
But that's good because I've got people in like Ohio and all sorts of places. They can't get their email. They're calling me. "Well, the internet's down."
Yeah. I know how that is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Randy.
I know it upsets me when my internet's down.
And see, that would have cheered you up too if you'd been here yesterday.
Oh.
And he said he's been getting word. Okay, so what happened after the house, and his servers got hacked, and so
That cheers us up. The fact he's having a lot of trouble.
no, the fact that he's back.
That he's back.
But okay, so you know.
So we've been begging him.
So you-
I even tried to get him to come do my wedding for me, and he didn't even call me.
Right. He told me how many customers. He lost a lot of customers.
Well, I understand
during,
if he was
during that
under
period
those
of time. He lost a lot of
conditions.
customers.
I forgive you, Randy.
So you can imagine how he's had
Yeah,
his hands
okay,
full.
Randy.
And when it was finally all over, he said I went on vacation, and he took the family.
I
and-
can understand. You go through a lot of stress.
Right. So I mean, and he went on vacation, and so that's the Randini story. And
So did he know how much we've been missing him?
I told him, and he said yes, he did. He said he had been getting reports. One of his employees would periodically report to him that there had been that we'd been asking on TV, or that somebody had emailed or whatever. He was getting some of the reports from us
okay.
that he knew we were asking, and he says he's going to start being back more often now and be back around. I guess
Well,
that's,
he's a wonderful guy, so.
it cheered me
Love
up
that.
so much to see. We had so much fun yesterday, mostly after the party was over. Just because we just catching up on everything and just talking and we found Randini and I always find that we have a lot of things in common. And what
Which is amusing for a liberal.
Randini has tattoos. He's getting tattoos. He's got a big old snarly dog on this arm, and then down here he's got the alien from Bugs Bunny, the Martian.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's got
What
the-
has possessed him to do this?
and over
Did he
here
say?
he's got like a coffin with a skull in it. I mean, with a skeleton in it and stuff. He was working with some guy that had some tattoos, and somehow the guy got him interested in them, and he went and he got one and he liked it. Don't know.
I've never understood that. Of course, I have an aversion to needles.
Me too. He said it didn't hurt. Except there's one spot here. He said.
But you can't ever take them off again. What happens when you get tired of them?
Well, I don't think he'll ever get tired of that little alien, that little Martian
Yeah, I
guy.
like him. Yeah.
But
What
Oh.
happens when you have certain ones that are contoured to your body,
And then your body's not shaped like that anymore.
and then gravity gets you as the years go by.
Well, what you do is
You have to have string lifts inside.
you have to plan in advance. Like early
This undulation going on here.
yeah, early on, maybe they've got their eyes closed, and later in life they've got their eyes open or something. I don't know.
No, early on they would be open, and then later they would close.
Something like that.
And the face would get all wrinkledy and saggy.
You have to take it all into account ahead of time. You could plan for gravity, and then with time they would.
And also, don't the dyes fade?
I think they spread and fade and different things. Yeah.
And then they get into your liver.
Yeah. It's not so.
Oh,
Yeah.
They do some liver issues. Those dyes.
when I was young, only sailors got tattoos.
Sellers.
Drunk sailors.
Sailors. Yeah.
Drunk sailors got tattoos.
I know that's the classic that they
What are you gonna do
after
with the drunken sailor?
right. That's the classic story is that they a night of leave.
Yep.
And they don't have any recollection, but
Shore leave.
Oh
exactly.
gosh, all my money's gone.
And
And I got
this-
this tattoo. I don't know
Right.
how I got it. Don't even remember.
Right. And who is Lolita anyway?
And why is Lolita tattooed on my arm? I hope it was worth it
Yeah.
because it's with me forever.
I'm gonna have to find Lolita and ask her.
So are you getting a tattoo is the question.
No, I don't have any plans for tattoos. It's just not. I'm like you, just not my thing.
Yeah.
The piercings and tattoos. Some people like them, and some people don't.
Body modifications. I happened to run across one on the internet the other day I never heard of. People have magnets embedded in their fingers.
Yeah. Does it help them pick up tacks?
No, it helps them pick up sense electrical fields, and the magnet actually
Vibrate.
spins inside. They spin inside, and when they go over a circuit board, they can tell where the current is.
Huh.
What advantage is that?
Well, this very nice young lady was explaining it, and she never gave a good reason. She just giggled a lot about how funny it felt. And then she told that later on it got infected real bad. They had to take it out.
Doesn't sound like a real good deal.
No.
Okay, we have.
So I wasted 15 minutes watching that because I thought it was going to get interesting.
Have some sort of point, like
Yeah, I thought it had a point.
like the Sopranos, like the ending of
Yeah.
the Sopranos.
Yeah, and if
I
Instead
mean-
of just fizzling out where they're eating bad Italian food,
If I was still
is that what
doing,
they did?
it just fizzled out.
if I was still doing technician type work like I did when I was young, I can see where having one of those would be useful.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, this circuit's okay.
And this
no,
one's dead. There's
that
nothing
one's
happening.
dead. Yes.
Right, just sort of rub your hand over it and you go, there's
Yeah.
nothing going on in here. Probably something is shorted out here or not,
Yeah.
or open. It's
Yeah.
not letting any electricity in over here.
Of course, if you just think about it, you can pretty well figure it out without having to do that. But
Yeah, I can do that anyway without magnets in my hands. I do the magic hand. That's what a lot of times. That's
Is it like a little, kind of like a little sensation that comes off of it that's very subtle?
no, actually, I do it with my mind. I can just sort of.
You can read the magnetic field with your mind.
I can open up a piece of electronic equipment and just sort of glance through all the equipment, and my eye will just be drawn to the bad component, even if it has no markings on it or anything. Just to let you know, I can just go, that just feels bad. And
That's intuition.
more often than one would think, I'm
Like a
right.
good
But
doctor?
I've done it a lot of times. I mean, I've fixed electronics for 30 years. Or
Yeah, well, a
something.
good doctor has an intuitive ability to diagnose stuff based on that
Right.
that same kind of feeling that you're talking about. You know, I can tell that too bad, or I can tell that there's a blockage here.
Yeah, well,
or
tubes
whatever.
are easy. A lot of times, if, like, for instance, if you look in there and there's one of them that doesn't light up, well, that's probably the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was working for a company, local company that makes servo drivers. Starts with a K, it's out in Black Mountain. And I had a boss I didn't particularly like. In fact, I left soon afterwards and went to work for NASA. But he came by one time and he said, "What's wrong with that servo driver you're working on?" And I put my finger on it and I said, "The voltage is low. That's 5.63 volts. We need 7." He said, "You can't tell that." So I take the voltmeter and I put it on. It's 5.63 volts. He said, "Wow," and walks away. Of course, I'd measured the voltage just before he came up, so I knew what it was.
Right,
He never did figure that out.
right. Well, and some people aren't real fast on
Yeah.
those things. But maybe he just didn't know you very well. Anybody who knew you well would know you were up to something like that, wouldn't they?
Certainly. I've never done anything to you, have I?
Well,
Not in the last 15
nothing,
minutes.
nothing except what I mean.
Not that he knows.
You're a bit of a smart bleep sometimes, but you know it's all in
I work
fun.
hard at it.
All in fun, huh?
I work hard at it.
Yeah, all in fun. That's part of the fun of having the tea party and stuff. I'm wanting somebody to try some of that other tea. Nobody wants to touch the flowered tea. It does
The
look.
smoky tea is good.
It's because the smoky tea
It's
is
so
so good, we
good.
don't want to stop drinking it.
Yeah.
My goodness, I'll just have to get more of that
Yeah.
then. You know, I'm thinking about. Well, I'll just always keep the smoky tea and that teapot.
Yeah. There you
Together.
go.
Now, I meant to bring you some today, but I'll bring the next time I come. Hopefully, I'll remember.
What? Some new kind of tea?
From when we were in Florida, we went to, the man who built the railroad down into Florida to open Florida up was Henry Flagler.
Okay.
Well, he has this beautiful
I
home
remember
there called
Flagler Street.
Whitehall.
There's Flagler Street.
Flagler Drive.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, he built this beautiful home called Whitehall. And they have a tea room there that operates in the wintertime whenever is the high season. And their tea is really wonderful. So I bought a pound of it, so I'm going to bring some next week
Well, do.
for
Hey,
the tea
hey.
party.
Hello.
Well, hello.
You're acting like you're
tea-
just going to run through.
Tea from Whitehall Mansion on Palm Beach.
Okay. All right.
It's good. It's done by Harney. You know the tea company Harney?
I don't know. Everybody needs an alien head with condoms in it, don't you think?
Alien.
Our secret ingredient in the tea.
At least we know what's on the alien's mind.
Yes.
Oh yeah, speaking of condoms.
Here we go, folks. Okay.
Well, okay, so these little rubber band things that women use to keep their hair ponytails.
Crunchy.
Well, they found out, these women in China found out, because one of them started coming apart, and it looked weird, so she continued taking it apart, and they were using recycled condoms for the rubber band, putting the fabric wrap over them, and so,
Well, it's wrapped in fabric. What do you want?
meaning they were used.
Really?
Yes.
My goodness. Well, they are frugal, aren't they?
See, that's how come I'm a little suspicious of things from China. Because they do
Exactly.
these things
All right. All right.
with impunity.
Well, the smoky tea comes from China, but I've seen a picture
Well,
of,
what have they
of
been
the smoke.
smoking to make it smoky?
It's good, isn't it?
It's
It is
good, but is it good for us?
But I saw.
Does
Well,
it use smoke, though?
it's-
That's the question.
it's a real high grade black tea to start with. It's it's
Yes.
like top
It
of
is
the
good.
line. It's
It
the
is
top
good.
of the line black tea, and then they actually smoke it in a smoker, which is like it's like it's like a drum, like an oil drum. You know what I mean? But they put the tea in there and they roll it. They turn it over and over. They roll it over and over while they smoke it. And
So it gets evenly smoked.
Right.
That would be the
So
purpose of turning
It's kind of like being in a dryer.
kind of like in a drum.
Aliens like cookies.
Yes. It's one of the main reasons we come here.
Yep.
You came here for the cookies. Came to this planet for the cookies.
I came to the world for the cookie.
Did you see that movie? There was this movie, and I can't remember the name of it, about the guy who can't the guy who was in the mental hospital for being he thought he was an alien or whatever, and he was talking to him, and he says, "Oh yes," he says a visit to your planet is worth it for the produce alone. He says, and he hadn't even got to the cookies, you know. And he'd pick up an apple or an orange or something and eat it, skin it all, and core and all, and just it's just, you know, a trip to your planet is worth it for the produce alone.
What movie was that?
I can't remember the name of the movie. It was a good movie.
If it's not on Turner Classic Movies, I'm probably not seeing it anytime soon because that tends to be the only movies I'm watching lately.
You like the Turner Classics?
I love them. I love the dress and
Well, he bought.
sometimes.
Huh?
K-Pax.
K-Pax. That's the name of the movie.
K-Pax.
K-Pax. K-Pax. It's a good movie, isn't it?
K-Pax. See it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you appreciate the world more.
I was watching the Democratic presidential nominee speech
Last night.
and I got bored with it. I really
You did. You got bored with it,
So
and I
I
thought it
flipped-
was inspirational.
See, that's a difference
got
of
bored.
opinion going
Yeah.
on there.
So I flipped through the channels and I found Rocket Ship XM, which was filmed in 1950. It had Lord Bridges in it. And I watched that and I
Wow.
enjoyed it quite a lot.
I can see how there'd be a hard call between those two.
On the
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Channel?
But I listened on my car radio, and that movie was not available. So I listened to the whole. I listened to
No, I listened to most of
the
it.
speech, and I
You're being serious.
and I felt that it was inspirational. The speech. Did you hear it?
No, because I was watching Indiscreet with Ingrid Bergman and
Turner
and-
Classics.
on Turner
There
Classics.
you go.
And you were working.
How's it work?
But we had. I was listening to it, and I felt that I thought I don't know if you saw it all or not.
Well, I've watched political conventions on TV since the 60s, and I've
Yeah.
heard both of them. And I've heard a lot of inspirational speeches, and that was good, but I've heard better speeches. Maria Cuomo, Ted Kennedy in 1980,
Uh-huh.
much better speeches than that. Ronald Reagan is Lights on the Hills or whatever it was. That was
Uh-huh.
good. City on the Hill.
Uh-huh.
So
Morning in
Obama's
America.
Morning in America, that was it. So
Morning in
Obama
America.
was probably in the top 10, but Kenny back it up. We don't need good speeches, we need a good leader.
Well, that's right. That's right. But
Yeah.
I thought that it was inspirational, and because of that, I thought it was similar to when Kennedy would speak. See, Kennedy would inspire the nation to be
Yeah,
more,
John
be
F,
more
yeah.
than you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Don't just be happy with what you. He was the don't
It's
ask.
not what your country
Exactly.
can do for you, but what you can do for you.
Right, and that was that's the one that they always cite. But the speeches were always that way. They were always we can do more. We can go. We can do
FDR, this
further.
day shall live in infamy.
Uh-huh.
That type of speech, yeah.
Right. I like that. I
Or
think
we only have the only thing we have to fear is
Fear.
fear itself.
Yeah. Williams Jennings Bryan, no cross of gold, no crown of silver. Or was it the other way around? But anyway.
Well, they say a great president is always a great orator. They go together.
Well,
That was why.
I got to admit that Obama is a lot better than Bush.
Yeah,
Will you give him that?
I'll give him that.
Will you give him? I was thinking about this morning. Well, it's going to cost this much and that much and the other much to do what Obama wants us to do. Well, how much is Iraq costing us each day? That's what I want to know.
But getting back to a good president is people who perceive a certain man was a good president, that president could communicate. Reagan thought so good. You know, you can understand what he was saying.
Right. Reagan may not have written the speeches.
Yeah.
But he could darn sure read them. He was
he could
a
deliver.
trained,
He
was
was
a trained
deliverer.
professional.
Yeah.
That's what he had read a script all his
Bill
life.
Clinton, you know, those guys could speak.
He could speak well.
Well, Bill
He could
Clinton
speak well. Would you pass me the flower tea, please?
blew his presidency in
Oh,
more
yeah.
ways than one.
No. What's her name did the blowing? What,
That's why I say more ways than one.
look at that. That looks lovely, don't you think?
He had the potential.
Yeah, and
He had elements of being
yeah,
really
I agree, and
And
what
he
he
blew it,
did
and he
was
really-
unforgivable.
yes, and I
Especially
think
about
that he was
Hillary.
hoping he could make it up with the Hillary presidential.
Yeah,
Do you think
have a
Hillary's still?
second chance to make his mark or their mark together, because they
think-
really are the presidential
Yeah.
team.
Do you
but
think
it's
Hillary's
over.
still miffed about that?
I think so too. I also think as of 12 o'clock today, she lost her chance to be the first woman president.
As of 12 o'clock today.
Yeah.
What happened at 12 o'clock
You
today?
didn't know?
You don't know?
No.
You don't? Oh, John McCain chose the governor of Alaska.
Oh yeah,
as
I
his
did know
running
that.
mate.
I didn't put it together. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Can you imagine how-
I didn't relate it to Hillary as in she'd lost her chance, but I
Can you imagine how she feels now? First, Obama dumps on her. Now McCain rubs it in.
No, wait.
Nobody
Obama did
likes
not
her.
dump it on her. Her mismanagement of her campaign, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are Hillary supporters going to say,
Whoa, yeah,
"Oh
they're
no,
coming to the TV
it was the media's fault." But she ran a bad campaign.
Yeah, I agree.
And
All that-
Obama got ahead of them whenever Hillary thought it's inevitable. I'm going to be the candidate.
And all those
So you had
tens-
hubris and mismanagement.
Yeah, all those
And that's
tens
that's what it gets you.
all those tens of millions of dollars that people gave her. What did they get for it?
Nothing.
well.
And she only has herself and him to blame, because there's
Well,
a
see-
lot of us who just didn't want any more of the psychodrama.
But yeah, McCain is playing it all on all that by. But I would say that with both candidates, the voters are looking very closely at who the vice president is going to be, because in both candidates. The average man has a big question in his mind: Will this guy finish the presidency?
Yeah.
And it's obvious with McCain, and due to his age, that whoever his running mate is may wind up being president. Should McCain ever be president?
But
And-
I
and-
was really surprised when Obama took Biden.
Were you?
Well, yeah, look at his history. The guy got thrown out of his first run for the presidency.
That's
by
true.
Plagiarism. He's a loose cannon speaking. He's going to make some gaffes. You know that. He always does. So
Well,
it just depends on what he says.
Well, James Webb wouldn't do it.
do you remember? Do you remember when they were trying to figure
Probably
out
smart.
who was going to be the vice president, and and I saw it on TV, and they were asking, they were talking about it. The newsmen were talking about it among themselves, and one of them asked the guy that they were interviewing and stuff. And they said, who is it going to be? And they said, well, it's going to Obama says that he's going to let his people know via email,
Text.
text message
Text,
and
yeah.
email and stuff
Yeah.
before he officially announces, and that the inner circle is going to have the no on that. And I'm tickled to say that I was reading my email, and that I got an email from Obama telling me that he had decided to go with Joe Biden. While the guy was on TV, and they asked him, and they said, well, who's it going to be? And two of the guys on TV said, I don't know, I'm not in that circle. They're not telling me.
And didn't that
And
make you feel special?
It made me feel so special.
But that was a good.
Remember
That
the
was
night-
a. That was a good
That was.
kind of like buzzer.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, see,
buzz,
I had been writing
Buzz
him,
creator.
telling him who I wanted him. I wanted him to get Kucinich. See what I mean?
No, he's too short.
Oh well, thank God he didn't listen to you.
Well, I didn't
I'm not
necessarily
talking about his
expect him
height, I'm
to.
talking about his brain.
He's a wussified vegan.
I didn't necessarily expect him to, but since Kucinich is bringing impeachment proceedings, I wanted to give him as much support as I could, and so I was asking Obama to do that, and I had been doing this via email. So when he made up his mind,
Did you write him back and say you chose wrong?
no.
But
I
remember-
totally support what he does.
You remember the night before when they leaked that Obama buy sticker and everybody thought it was going to be Evan
Yes.
buy?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Well, I sent out an email on one of the conservative mail lists that I found the real stickers, Obama Yelton.
Uh-huh.
Don liked it.
I gotta go.
It's a nice design, too. It'd been a good sticker.
I gotta go.
Have you got to go to work?
You
I
got to
gotta
go.
work.
You got to go to work.
I do.
Well,
But I don't want.
well, we have a little bit to talk about. Technical. You can't take it directly from a DVD for editing.
I can, but you know, it'd be actually nicer to go from the DVD to the tape, and then just drop the whole tape straight into the timeline and go at it.
Uh-huh.
Because for the internet, you're still going to convert them anyway.
Yep, you got to encode it.
So you're going to change.
Oh, I know, but this is for broadcast. This is for
Yeah.
this is a show, a straight show.
Yeah,
I'm just making a best of.
yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, it's easy because we can watch them straight off the DVD. Put them on the
okay,
DVD.
so you
and
can
record only.
so
what
so
you want
you
to
so
tape.
you can go from DVD to DVD
talk.
from DVD to DV tape.
Yep.
For what,
And then just,
as a S video or what
Technical
Firewire or
talk.
combination.
huh?
Tech talk.
Firewire or
Yeah.
a combination.
Well, you can firewire from DVD
From DVD.
to over to your
DVD
DV tape.
tape.
You can
Yeah.
go back the other way from
Or
your
I can
DVD.
even go. I even go wireless
Yes.
because I have a Sony broadcaster.
Cool.
Wireless. It sits on my speakers on the other
But
side.
I
of
don't know
the
what that is.
room. Infrared. Your eye.
But it does what?
It broadcasts back and forth from whatever source you're sending from the camera to, or it's the
Uh-huh.
iLink. That's what it is. It sends it to whatever you're gonna see it on, or you can turn it around and have the sensor on your camera. And have it,
Ah.
so I can record
What-
it
what-
right
what-
off
what-
wireless.
what- don't
What
do it
kind of
wireless.
resolution, though?
Yeah, don't do it wireless. But
Oh, resolution. It's the same as if it went from camera to camera.
you okay?
HD or
o-
SD?
Okay,
This would be HD.
you
but I don't need
okay.
it.
The firewire on your camera can act as an input on your camera.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got what that has a firewire output on it? Your computer,
Both
or
the computer and the DVD.
and your DVD
Recorder.
firewire on your DVD recorder it goes both ways. It can be an output as well.
That's cool. So you could take a laptop with you, leave it in your car, and stand around and shoot.
Right. The original reason
Yeah.
why I got that sort of configuration so that if we decide to do a VJ DJ kind of thing,
Well,
we
do
just
that.
have
Just that can be that can be at least the first step of editing. Is you can just do like
'cause then
a
we'll have
hard
it
a
on-
hard manual edit. You know what I mean?
And that way, but you're recording onto tape only the sections that you want,
Right. That's right.
and then you go from there.
Right. And then you can use the tape over again too once you finish that section,
Yeah.
or keep it either way.
Whatever. I keep it.
See?
If you can afford
Well,
to keep
okay.
the
So
tape.
I write
can
once
you
and leave
can you
alone.
can you? All right. So what you're saying is you're going to take some
This
clips,
tape's cost
the
$5.
best
Yeah.
clips,
Clips.
and put it into another onto a DVD. Then could you edit that?
Yep. If I want to.
Yeah. You see, we're all techies on this bus.
Yeah, that's true.
So my DVDs that I did for the millinery class,
Uh-huh.
if there's something on there that I don't like, I don't have to go back to my original timeline in my original editing. I can go back and edit from what's there on.
You could.
It would be
On the finished
easier to go back to your
DVD.
original timeline if
but you
still
could
got
do
that.
it. But you
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah.
So if you normally with your shows, you probably do a data DVD, a data backup anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you'd be just bringing that back.
That-
Or if you want to take your finished DVD, and you want portions of that, go ahead and rip it.
Uh huh.
Go ahead and rip it. You're gonna have all your files spit out, and then You may have to convert them depending on what you've got.
Oh, I have another
You go
question
from
for you.
there.
Are
Boy,
you
I
going
think
to
you could
Shelby
teach
or
a
not?
class on that.
It's tomorrow.
Oh gosh, I'd forgotten.
It's tomorrow.
I may
Shelby.
have-
Oh, I meant to announce
have
that
to
too.
go, yeah.
Shelby Hamfest, which is actually held in Gastonia this year, not in Shelby. So is it the Gastonia Hamfest?
No.
It's the Shelby Hamfest. Okay, the Shelby
Is that like
Hamfest.
ham that you
Ham
eat or
radio.
ham radio?
Ham
Ham
radio.
radio. Second largest ham fest in North America.